my Agile friends. Welcome back to Agile Unlocked. I really want to be your go-to spot for real talk and real transformation in the world of Agile. I put a lot of effort into making this a space for you to ask questions and get information that's relevant to your real work environment. I am Coach RL, and today we're diving into another bite-sized Agile lesson that honestly changed the way I look at team delivery forever. We're talking about cycle time. Now, if you've been following along with our last few episodes, like when we broke down WIP limits or talked about why teams sometimes stay silent about problems, today's topic is going to fit right in because cycle time is all about making the invisible visible. And that's a theme we keep coming back to, right? So what exactly is cycle time? In Agile, cycle time is the number of days it takes for a work item, think user story, task, bug, whatever, to go from in progress to done. That's it. If a developer picks up a story on Monday and it's ready for production by Thursday, that's a cycle time of 3 days. Simple math, but the insights you get from it, not so simple. I still remember the first time I really understood what cycle time could do for a team. I was working with this group that on the surface seemed to be moving along just fine, but we kept running into these weird slowdowns. Work would just kind of stall out. We started tracking cycle time and suddenly the bottlenecks were right there in the data. It was like turning on a light in a dark room. We could see exactly where things were getting stuck, and that changed everything about how we approached improvement. Now, here's the thing. Cycle time isn't just for Scrum, and it's not some fancy metric reserved for Kanban purists. It's actually one of the most powerful tools you can use, especially when you start blending Scrum with Kanban principles. Remember when we talked about visualizing work and limiting WIP? Cycle time fits right into that picture. It helps you see how work is actually flowing through your system, not just how much you're getting done. Let's get practical for a second. What can you actually do with cycle time? First, it's a fantastic way to spot bottlenecks. If you notice your cycle time creeping up over a few sprints, that's a red flag. Maybe there's a blocker, maybe handoffs are taking too long, or maybe your team's just overloaded. I worked with a team using version 1, Rally, or Jira, and we started seeing their cycle times slowly rise. At first, nobody could really put their finger on why. But when we dug into the data, it turned out the deployment handoff was the culprit. That insight led to a process change, and suddenly things started moving again. Another big win, forecasting. By looking at your average cycle time, you can actually predict how long similar work items might take in the future. That's gold for sprint planning or when stakeholders come knocking, asking, hey, when's this going to be done? And here's something a lot of teams miss. Cycle time can reveal issues that velocity charts just don't catch. Velocity tells you how much you're delivering, but cycle time tells you how efficiently you're delivering it. If your velocity looks steady, but cycle time is all over the place, that's a sign your process might need some love. So, how do you actually calculate cycle time? It's as straightforward as it gets. End date minus start date. If you start a task on July 1st and finish on July 4th, that's 3 days. Most tools, Jira, Azure DevOps, ClickUp, can spit this out for you automatically, as long as your workflow stages are set up right. And that's key. You need clear, consistent definitions for what start and done mean on your board. Otherwise, your data is going to be all over the place. What do cycle time trends actually tell you? Well, shorter cycle times usually mean your workflow is smooth and your team's collaborating well. If you see cycle time bouncing around or trending up, that could mean you've got blockers, tech debt, or maybe you're just taking on too much at once. Stable cycle time, that's the sign of a mature, agile team with a solid delivery rhythm. And if you're seeing shorter times, it often means you're keeping your whip low and your focus high, something we talked about in our whip limits episode. Here's my tip. Start tracking cycle time during your sprint reviews or retrospectives. Look for patterns. Are things getting faster, slower, or just unpredictable? Use that data to have real conversations about what's working and what's not. And if you're trying to move toward a more flow-based delivery model, maybe you're experimenting with Kanban or Scrum, cycle time is your best friend. It gives you the transparency and feedback you need to adapt and improve, which honestly is what Agile's all about. All right, that's a wrap for today's bite-sized lesson. If your team's work ever feels like it's dragging or you're struggling to predict when things will get done, give cycle time a try. It might just unlock the next level of performance for you. Thanks for tuning in to Agile Unlocked. Keep experimenting, keep improving, and I'll catch you in the next episode.